Good morning, special guest in studio. And when I say special guest, I mean like super special, not like special, because special is just special, but this is like super duper special. Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman from Radius.
Yeah.
What's
I've
happening?
got to get over the being super duper special thing. That's fantastic. Thank you very
Right?
much. I appreciate that. I
Y-
thought I would be happy if I was just regular special, so
no,
super extra
man. No,
special.
man.
Duper special.
No, 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 no.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for having me in. I always appreciate it when you guys have me on. That's very nice of you. I just want to come in today, kind of give you a little bit of an update, and talk a little about zombie mortgages and what we do with those. Uh,
Zombie more, is it because we are, 6 days away from Halloween? Is that kind of a theme?
well, we do it all year long, so it's always kind of
Zombie?
Halloween in my office to some degree. Yeah, a zombie second or a zombie loan in any case is a loan that you thought was gone, was dead and buried, and is still on your title that you're unaware of. So it's still on your house. You may have filed a bankruptcy, so you think it's not on you. You may have done a loan modification, so you think it's gone. But they're not. They come back, and what we call them zombies because they come back to life to eat your equity. And what we're seeing as the market is cooling in general, because if you have a house to sell, do it now. You kind of already missed the boat because it's going to be a long, tough ride from here. It won't be as
You
bad
said
as
that you said
2008.
this was going to happen. You
I
told
did.
us.
I did. I said April of beginning of second quarter next year was going to be the peak, and it was, and it is, and here we are. And it's unfortunate. I did not think the Fed was going to raise the interest rate the way they have. I was saying if we get over 6 by the end of the year, it's going to be a problem. And we're over 7, and creeping back will go over. We may even make 8 by the end of the year because the Fed has said they're going to raise the rate one more time in November. I hope that doesn't happen, but so far they haven't said anything they haven't done. So it's going to be bad. The housing market has already receded about 5%. It'll recede another 5 or 6% over the next coming months, and it may see a drop as low as 20, depending on what the Fed does to it over the next year. So yeah, it's probably going to be double-digit loss between this year and next year as far as housing values, which sucks. But which brings us to zombie seconds and zombie mortgages. What's happening now is the banks are seeing all the same stuff I was just talking about, and that the real estate market is cooling. The interest rates have gone up, consumer confidence has gone down, and those are the two things that rule the housing market. Consumer confidence was, I saw this weekend, 23% of people believe their housing value will go down over the next year. I like to refer to those as the people who are right. 9% of people believe we're already in a recession. Again, I like to refer to those people as the people who are right because we are absolutely already in a recession. And so the banks are seeing the same data, and what they're doing is they're trying to get all the foreclosures in they can before the prices fall any farther than they have. So we're seeing all kinds of activity. I mean, I think it was on a couple of months ago. I said the foreclosure numbers are up a little over 800% from the year prior. Now, granted, the year prior was COVID, so everything was kind of locked down, but it's gone up even beyond that. It's absolutely ridiculous. We were seeing 300 to 400 a month as COVID was coming to an end, and now we're seeing about 1,000 a month, 1,500 a month in the areas that we follow. So it's very, 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 very bad. And what's happening is banks come forward and they say, well, that loan you didn't know you had, that you didn't know is still on your title, well, it is. And now it is, we want you to
And
pay
do they
us.
say it like that, like all like kind of,
No, they send you a letter in the mail that says, give us all this money or we're taking your house in the next 90 days. So I'm
Oh,
actually being very nice about it and doing
got
it
it.
this way because I'm sure the people who get these letters, many 4-letter words involved. There would be and people always go through the same 4 phases. Can't be true, it's a big mistake. Then they look into it, they find out it is true. Then they kind of fly around in a tizzy for a while because then we go to the it's not fair phase. So it's not true, it is true, it's not fair. And then there's the panic that follows it's not fair. And that's usually, hopefully, when they come to us and we clean this up for free. I want to give you one example I brought in with me today. This is a new file in our office. We're seeing this over and over and over again. Lovely woman, she's 73 years old. She is semi-retired, wants to be all the way retired. And just to educate your listeners a bit, AARP just did a survey recently. Better than 90% of people surveyed said they need to use the equity that they've gained in their home over years by paying down their mortgage in order to be able to retire. So this woman needs her equity to eat. And she got a letter in the mail that said, hey, remember that $159,000 debt that you took out in 2008 that you thought was gone and you haven't made a payment on since 2009? Yeah, as it turns out, you now owe us $329,000 and we'd like our money in the next 90 days or we're taking your house. Now, she has a lovely little house in Canyon Country. She has equity. She thought she had equity in her house. She's been paying the mortgage on the house regularly. She's never missed a mortgage payment in almost 20 years. She's paid down the equity. And all she's done by paying down the equity on the first is not provide for her retirement or for a inheritance for her family. What she's done is made herself a target for a second. Now, the second has done nothing. This is a loan taken out over a decade ago. I think it's 14 years since it's been paid. It's at 9%, and the debt continues to accrue interest. And the fact that you can have this on your mortgage, on your loan rather, this kind of mortgage on your title, excuse me, and not know about it is crazy. But then who checks their title? And what drives me nuts is there's no requirement for the bank to make you aware. So either you know or it's a nasty surprise. And for most people, it's a nasty surprise. Had she just started paying her mortgage even 10 years ago, she'd be fine now with this second. But she didn't know it existed. She got no notices in the mail. She got nothing. And it was a hell of a surprise when a notice came in the mail that said, give us, $329,000 or we're taking your house. And they're serious. She's in foreclosure now. They have an NOD filed against her house, notice of default.
She must be devastated.
Yeah, completely. She thought she was good. She thought she had about $300,000, $400,000 in equity in her house that she's earned over the years. And now she's discovering that actually that money is going to have to go to somebody else. She has zero equity in her house at 73 years old. And that's wrong. That's just wrong. It is wrong to continue to charge interest on a debt that you intentionally do not know the consumer is aware of. Because the longer the bank, remember we were in an era not so long ago when interest rates were 3%. This bank had a loan at 9% that they just kept accruing interest, building on itself, compounding upon itself over years, over 14 years, and nobody bothered to say anything to the homeowner. And
how do we fix that? How do you
got to check your title report. Just like you should check your credit about every 6 months, if not sooner. You need to check your title report about once a year.
How do we do? Wait. You're going fast. You're going fast.
Sorry,
how do we check the title?
I only have so much time. You guys always are very nice to me. I don't waste my time. How do you do it? You give me a call, or any realtor can do it. Any person at title can do it. It's public record. It's super easy. There are dozens of programs out there you can use. Just type it in, and it'll see what comes back, and you can see the title history of the house. It's all with the assessor's office. If you're really curious, you can go to the assessor's office. Mm-hmm. You can file a form with the assessor. They'll send it to you in writing. There are many, many ways to do it. It's just an added headache that most people aren't going to go through, that most people would never have cause to do. And when these things crop up, they're terrifying, and people, they flip out. I mean, this woman has to now find $329,000 on a fixed income of $2,500 a month. How is she supposed to do that? So the bank is saying, you will sell your house and give us the money, or we will foreclose and sell it for you.
Is this a state or a federal issue?
This should be a state issue. I've lobbied on this.
Okay.
Carl has put me in front of the right people. The station has been extremely helpful about this. And what happens with politicians of every stripe, this is both parties, this is definitely a pox on both your houses sort of thing. They all listen intently. They all say, yes, Rich, we agree with you. Something must be done. This is wrong. This was not the intent of these loans. This was not the intent of the laws that govern other mortgage products and do not govern these. And they all listen and they do nothing. And the reason is there is no political will, because this is a subject that requires a paragraph to explain. It's not as good as gas prices have gone up, blame the other guys. Or I don't know what else, whatever the idiocy
the attack of the day is. Yeah.
Because we can't seem to focus on real issues. We seem to only spend our time focusing on nonsense. When I was a kid, we used to joke about flag burning, how that was like, was there really an epidemic of flag burning going on in this country at any time that I was unaware of, that this needed to be front and center? And then for a while, it was LGBTQ rights would have to be a big thing, which again, that doesn't affect my life. I mean, for the people it affects, it's great. And for the people it doesn't affect, it doesn't really affect me. But we do this and we get trapped on this stupid hamster wheel, and the media just feeds this to us over and over again. One side feeds you their propaganda, the other side feeds you their propaganda, and the truth is somewhere in the middle and very, very hard to find. And as a result of that, there is no political will to address this. One simple thing fixes this. Two, if you want to be fancy about it, and it's this. When a bank transfers what they call bad debt, and this is really the secret here, when a bank has a loan, they charge it off. That is just a tax thing. They're telling the government that the loan is not collectible and of no value. That's what charged off means, not collectible, of no value. Hey, we can't pay taxes on this, we're taking a loss. But then they turn around and sell it for some value. They sell it for money in the secondary market. This loan that I was talking about, this investor who owns it now did not pay $330,000 or $329,000 for this loan. They probably didn't even pay the $159,000 that was the face value of the loan to begin with. They probably paid about 50 cents, maybe 20 cents on the face value of the original loan. So they're into this about $70,000 on a debt they're now going to collect for $329,000. That's not right. So here's how you fix that. When you transfer from bank A to bank B, you are supposed to give the homeowner notice. But unfortunately, notice need not be constructive. And that is a fancy legal way of saying they don't have to prove that they told you. And you cannot prove that you did not get something. So you can't prove you never got their letter. And they will go, if you go to court on these matters, which we've done, the bank will say, yep, here's the letter we sent. And the homeowner will say, I never got that. And that's the end of the argument, because you can't prove you didn't get it, because there's no onus for them to prove they sent it. Just doesn't get done.
Right.
The second part of this is, if you're going to sell a loan in the secondary market, why can't the homeowner be allowed to buy it? If they sold this loan I'm talking about for, say, 50 grand, maybe 60 grand, why not go to the homeowner and say, hey, you have this loan. It's being sold in the secondary market. We know what the face value is. We know what the accrued debt is on the loan, but we're going to sell it off. The highest bid was 50 grand. If you want to match that bid, no more loan. If not, then it's going to go to this guy and he's going to try to collect the whole thing. Why not do that? Two very simple, common sense fixes. This entire problem goes away. We have a housing problem already. We're going into a recession. We're already in a recession. It's going to make the housing problem much, much worse because interest rates have spiked, and it's going to damage the housing market like crazy. And so what happens is you have all these bad actors who buy these things up in the secondary markets, and they squeeze little old ladies out of their houses, literally squeezing little old ladies out of their houses. And it's shameful and it's wrong. And these people who do this, they make me furious because I've been to their conventions. They will tell themselves, and the room gathered with these people who are not honest people. These are all bad actors in my view. They will tell themselves they are, and I quote, doing God's work cleaning up America's bad debt. And it is hard to sit in your seat when you hear something like that, when I represent people who are losing their homes because of this, what I consider a legal con, legal grift. Just sit there and listen to somebody say they're doing God's work. You're doing God's work by throwing a 73-year-old woman out of her house, by taking all of her equity, all of her hard-earned equity that she's put together over 20, 30 years, taking that all away from her, stealing her house in effect so that you can profit, but you're doing God's work to clean up America's bad debt. Well, I don't know what God you pray to, but mine does. The words of you too. The God I believe in is not short of cash.
Right.
But apparently the one they believe in is. And that's just, it's wrong. It's wrong on every scale. So
how do we, okay, so let's say we get one of these letters.
Mm-hmm.
We get one of these letters. We call you immediately.
Yeah. You give us a call. You can call me on my personal cell phone. It gets a little busy sometimes. So if I don't answer, please send me a text because I do give out my personal cell phone and I give it out on the air as well. That number is 661-714-1400. Say it again, 661-714-1400. And I really do answer that line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was at Disneyland a couple of weeks ago. Somebody called me. I was waiting in line for Pirates of the Caribbean. And somebody called, or Indiana Jones. Anyway, somebody called me and I answered the phone in line. And some of the crowd heard and I told them kind of what I do. And I had the whole crowd going on. So it was pretty fun, actually. I know it's weird, but I enjoy my job very much because I know what I can do with this. And like this one, for example, is a tough file. But she'll keep a house. We'll figure out how to do it. Okay. We'll figure out how to get it done. We'll save her house. But give me a call. We'll walk you through how we feel. We'll walk you through the various defenses that you have and the various, because you do have defenses. There are things you can do. You don't have to just roll over and put up with this nonsense. We also have attorneys on staff, one of whom is my wife. Hopefully you don't need to talk to her. Hopefully we can keep it out of the courts. But we have that option for you as well. But give us a call. We'll help you with. This is what we do. We've been doing it for 30 years. And the most important thing, and I always forget to say this, we do this completely for free. We are happy to help you. I just think this is a wrong that needs to be addressed. And I've been doing that. I've been putting my money where my mouth is on this subject for 30 years. There are, God, I haven't counted up, but there are easily over 1,000 families that are still in their homes now who otherwise would likely not be because of work we have done. And I'm very proud of that. And that's 30 years of resume talking. So, and everything we do is transparent. So if you have any questions of me, call me, ask, whatever, anything you want to know. I don't have any deep, dark secrets. I'm not that interesting a person when it comes to that kind of stuff. So ask me whatever you'd like. I have clients sometimes ask me for my home address. I'll be fine. I'll give it to you. It's not a problem.
And this is why I say super duper special guest, Richard Szerman from Radius. If you have trouble with the house, you get one of those letters, give him a call, look him up, and he'll take care of you. Richard, always a pleasure having you in studio.
Thanks for having me in, guys.